Wrongfully convicted. The case that shattered a family. Imagine waking up one morning, going about your daily routine, and within hours finding your entire life turned upside down. That was the cruel reality for Alex Mercer, a respected schoolteacher in Riverview City, a bustling metropolitan town known for its strict law enforcement and tough-on-crime policies. Alex was a quiet man, dedicated to his students and his family. He lived a modest life with his wife, Clara, and their 2 young children. His dream was simple: to give his family the kind of stability he never had growing up. But all of that was shattered the day police stormed into his home and placed him under arrest. The accusation that Alex had orchestrated a daring downtown jewelry store robbery. The evidence was shaky at best. A vague eyewitness account describing someone, about his height, a surveillance video too blurry to confirm his identity, and some financial records that prosecutors claimed suggested a sudden change in his spending habits. But Alex's so-called suspicious purchases were nothing more than regular household expenses, groceries, bills, and school supplies for his kids. Still, the prosecution pushed forward. The city was under pressure to show results, and Alex became the perfect scapegoat. The trial. From the very beginning, the trial felt like a performance rather than a pursuit of justice. The prosecutor painted Alex as a man living a double life, a teacher by day, a criminal mastermind by night. His defense attorney struggled to keep up, lacking both the resources and the influence needed to counter the prosecution's narrative. Key evidence that could have cleared Alex, like an alibi provided by colleagues and phone records placing him miles away from the crime scene, was dismissed as unreliable or inconclusive. Even worse, witnesses who had seen someone else fleeing the scene were never called to testify. Despite Alex's unwavering pleas of innocence, the jury returned a verdict: guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison. Life behind bars. Prison was a nightmare. Alex, who had once spent his days teaching children, now found himself surrounded by hardened criminals. Guards and inmates alike treated him with suspicion, branding him as just another convict who claimed to be innocent. Every day was a battle, not just for survival, but for sanity. Alex wrote countless letters to legal organizations, journalists, and anyone who might listen, but most went unanswered. His only lifeline was Clara, who never stopped fighting for him. At home, Clara's life was equally unbearable. She worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. Their children grew up with the shadow of their father's conviction hanging over them. They faced bullying, whispers, and stigma everywhere they went. Clara would often lie awake at night, wondering how long she could keep her family together while the man she loved wasted away in a prison cell. 15 years lost. 15 years passed without their father. 15 years without a husband. 15 years of lost time. But then, a spark of hope appeared. A young lawyer named Maya Lynn, passionate about wrongful conviction cases, took interest in Alex's file. She noticed glaring flaws in the trial, especially the fact that DNA evidence from the crime scene had never been properly tested. After months of petitions, appeals, and relentless effort, the courts finally agreed to revisit Alex's case. The DNA results were undeniable. The genetic material left at the scene did not belong to Alex. In fact, it matched a known offender who had gone on to commit similar robberies while Alex sat behind bars. Freedom at last. After 15 long years, Alex was exonerated. The courtroom erupted when the verdict was overturned. Clara wept openly, clutching Alex as if she would never let him go again. Their children, now teenagers, hugged the father they had barely known outside prison walls. The community was divided, some relieved that justice had finally been served, others outraged that such a grave miscarriage of justice could happen in the first place. News outlets covered the case nationwide, sparking heated debates about flaws in the justice system. The aftermath. But freedom came at a cost. Alex struggled to adjust to life outside prison. He had missed the prime years of his career, his children's milestones, and countless moments he could never get back. The trauma of prison life haunted him, loud noises triggered panic attacks, and trust did not come easily. Clara, too, bore scars. Years of exhaustion and heartbreak had taken their toll. Though reunited, the family knew they could never truly reclaim what had been stolen from them. Still, Alex decided to turn his pain into purpose. He began speaking publicly about his ordeal, advocating for prison reform and wrongful conviction awareness. His story became a symbol of systemic failure, but also of resilience and hope. The unanswered question, and so we are left to reflect. How does a system meant to protect the innocent and punish the guilty allow such a tragedy to occur? How many more men and women are sitting in prison cells today, silenced by the same failures that condemned Alex Mercer? Wrongful convictions don't just destroy lives, they shatter families, scar children, and erode public trust in justice itself. So ask yourself, what would you do if it were you, your brother, your sister, your parent, or your child? Would you fight against a system that feels rigged against you? And how many more Alex Mercers are still waiting, praying, for the truth to set them free?